Hi, it's Alaska Granny. As preppers, we want to be able to take care of our family, have the things we need, and provide the things that we're used to on a daily basis. Prepping is lifestyle insurance, I always say. You have the things you need so life can run as smoothly as possible. Well, it can be harder these days and far more expensive to get the bread and the things that we like. I made a video on foods that you can buy if you can't find the bread that you want, but then I had a new idea. Years ago, I had a bread machine, but it didn't work very well, and so I got rid of it. And we don't all have the time or the strength in our hands that we want to be making our own bread all the time, and everybody doesn't have a big fancy mixer that can knead your dough for you. So I thought to myself, perhaps I'd like to try a bread machine again. I was looking at them on Amazon and they're really quite expensive, and then my daughter said, Mom, you should get them at the thrift store. You could try all kinds of them for not very much money, and then you might still find the one that you want and you have money left over. So I started looking at the thrift stores and I saw them almost everywhere I went. Some of them were $15, some of them were as much as $30, and then I found this one for $8, and look, it's practically brand new. I don't believe anyone ever used it, or if they did, not very often. It has a little dust on the top, but that's it. And when you open it up, it looks perfectly clean inside, and it even has the direction book, and it's only $8. And last time I went to the store, bread was $5 and $6 a loaf. So that would be a great investment to even try and see if I could make my own loaf of bread. There's not that much money invested whether it works out or it doesn't. Before you would buy a used bread machine, you want to make sure that it has the pan that bakes the bread and that you can easily snap it in and out. Make sure that it fits in correctly, snaps in and out. You also want to make sure that it has the little paddle that is what kneads the bread. You want to make sure that it slides in and out easily on the pin that's in the bottom of the pan. And then when you pull out the pan, look underneath and see if everything looks okay. And then it probably is okay. When you set your bread machine on your counter, if you have cabinets up above, you want to carefully make sure that you can open it without banging into the cabinets, because what happened to me is I was flipping it up and it bashed back down and it smashed my finger. So yeah, you need to be careful where you place it ahead of time. Generally, bread machines come with their own instruction book, and one of the tips that I've read is that you should use the basic bread recipe that's in the guide that's designed for each bread machine. That yeah, you can experiment and do all kinds of things, but before you start experimenting with your bread machine, try to use the basic bread recipe and make sure that it's working smoothly, because they have food scientists who develop these recipes that are designed for this particular machine. That after you learn how your machine works and how you like your food, you can then start experimenting. But don't start experimenting until you know how things should look. When you want to use your bread machine, you want to put the wet ingredients in first, then the dry ingredients. Then you take your finger and you make a little indentation in the top of the dry ingredients, and you add your yeast on top. You don't want it to make contact with the water. You want the yeast in the dry ingredients on the top. Then you simply plug it in, set it on its basic setting, whatever your machine is, and then let it go. It's amazing. It just starts doing everything for you. It mixes it up, it kneads the bread, it allows it to rise, it kneads it again, and it bakes it. How simple is that? You want to insert your kneading blade and then spray it so nothing sticks. You want your wet ingredients first, so I'm adding 3/4 plus 2 tablespoons of water, 1 1/2 tablespoon of softened butter, 1 1/2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of dried milk, 1 1/2 teaspoon salt, 3 cups of flour. Now you want to make a little dent here for your yeast, but you don't want to go down into the liquid ingredients, and you want to add your yeast into that little indentation. And that's it. Now you want to insert it into your bread machine and turn it on. I suppose it's a good idea to mix everything into your pan before you put it in so that you don't end up spilling stuff over into your machine. Put it in place, close the lid, and we're plugging it in and ready to begin. Push start. Does that not look delicious? You're supposed to wait 20 minutes before slicing. And if you could smell the wonderful, beautiful aroma of this bread, you'd be wanting to dig right into it immediately. I definitely think I got my money's worth of $8 for the Oster compact bread maker. Look how beautiful that is. It was so simple. And now I can bake bread any single time I want. I just need to make sure that I have the basic ingredients. If you want to make sure that you can provide the basic bread that your family wants without any work, you plug it in, it does it all for you, look for a bread machine. You can order a brand new one if you want, or when you're looking around in thrift stores, look them over. Perhaps you can find a bargain there too. Leave us a comment on what bread machines that you like using, and if there's any tips and tricks for helping them work better, and maybe even any tips and tricks for what ingredients you use to make your bread even more delicious. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might like it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.